Hey guys, how are we doing? So we're back in another video from Somemoegaming. This is awesome because I have just finished like Hunter. Obviously we did the Why You Should Watch, which I watched literally straight after. And then now we're watching Hunter x Hunter in 49 minutes, which is cool because it'd be nice to have like a whole recap of the whole thing in a comedic fashion, which Somemoegaming does. If you've not watched any of his Anime a Minute videos, check him out. Very funny. So let's do this. This is Hunter x Hunter in 49 minutes. Get yourself a drink, get yourself some snacks, that's what I've got. Because it is Hunter x Hunter in 49 minutes. I'm doing this. Let's go. Owned by Viz Media, Madhouse, and Yoshiro Togashi. All rights reserved. This video is created for entertainment purposes only. Please support the official release. I'll do the thing. What the?
Oops, wrong one.
Oh right. Oh, was that the one done in the 90s? Right. Yeah.
To start Hunter x Hunter off, Gon leaves his hometown Will Island to become a hunter and to search for his father Jing, who left him when he was just a baby to be a hunter. Hence the name Hunter x Hunter. On the boat ride to the hunter exam site, Gon meets Kurapika and Leorio and creates a bond over saving someone. Apparently the boat ride was a test for the hunter exam, and so the captain passes them and drops them off at the nearest port to the hunter exam. They then make their way to the hunter exam site after passing 3 tests on the way, and on their arrival, they get a good look at the other applicants, and each gets assigned an identification number. Soon after, the examiner's thoughts arrives and starts the first phase of the hunter exam. The objective for the first phase is to follow the examiner to the destination without any given details on the distance. While going forward, Gon meets Killua and pretty much becomes friends on the spot. As the applicants are moving through the fog, they get lost, including Gon and Killua. Meanwhile, Kurapika and Leorio are grouped up and encounters Hisoka. Kurapika runs for it, but Leorio decides to take on Hisoka. With Hisoka having a higher caliber and strength, Leorio then takes a fat L. That's when Gon arrives and takes on Hisoka and also takes an L. Hisoka then spares both of them because he sees potential in the two of them. Hisoka then leaves taking Leorio with him and heads to the finish line of the first phase. Shortly after, Kurapika returns and heads to the finish with Gon, reuniting with Leorio and Killua. Moving forward to the second phase, the objective is to hunt a great stamp and cook a dish with it, with the ultimate goal being to satisfy the 2 gourmet hunter examiners, Menchi and Buhara. Menchi was dissatisfied with the applicant's dishes and fails everyone. That's when the Hunter Association's chairman Netero arrives.
So
tells
cool.
Menchi the exam that she has set up is unacceptable. Menchi then sets up another challenge, giving the applicants another chance. The goal for this challenge is to collect an egg from a spider eagle's nest. Some applicants dropped out, some applicants died, and the rest succeeded, including Gon, Killua, Kurapika, and Leorio. Moving forward, all the applicants that passed the second phase of the hunter exam is now being transported to the site of the third by airship. On the ride, most of the applicants rested, and Killua reveals to Gon that he comes from a family of assassins. Moving forward, the applicants arrive at the site of the third phase, which is the top of Trick Tower. The objective is to make the bottom of this tower within 72 hours. With that being said, Gon, Kurapika, Leorio, and Killua enter the tower through stone tiles. They then see that they need a 5th person to proceed, and so they wait. After waiting 2 hours, Fat Bitch drops by, and so they proceed through the tower with him. As they are going through the tower, they encounter an obstacle where they have to defeat 3 out of the 5 prisoners, with the rule being they have to challenge each prisoner one-on-one, and each applicant can only participate once. They pass through this obstacle after a series of fights and challenges, but they receive a 50-hour penalty due to an outcome of Leorio's match. After serving the penalty, they arrive at the bottom of Trick Tower with roughly 1 minute to spare, and so they pass the third phase. The passing applicants now move on to the fourth phase, which takes place on Zevel Island. On the ship ride there, each applicant is assigned a target through drawing cards. As a result, Gon is assigned Hisoka for his target. On that note, let me just take a moment to explain the rules of the 4th phase. An applicant is required to gather 6 points to pass this phase. Points are obtained through stealing identification tags. Target identification tags are worth 3 points, and applicants assigned tag is worth 3 points, and all other tags are worth 1. Moving forward, the applicants disperse into the island one by one, 2 minutes apart. When Gon enters the island, he thinks it ways to obtain Hisoka's tag, and comes to the decision that he'll use his fishing rod. He then practices his timing and accuracy, and discovers the best time to strike, which is when Hisoka is occupied with another target. Gon then searches for Hisoka, and after some time, he finds him. He then conceals his presence and follows Hisoka around, waiting for that chansu. As Hisoka is aiming for one of the applicants, Gon swoops in with his fishing rod and dips after taking Hisoka's tag. Shortly after, Gon collapses due to getting hit by a small dart which paralyzes him. The applicant that immobilized him then comes in and takes his tags, but soon after, Hisoka kills him and returns both his and Gon's tags, telling Gon that he's impressed with his ability to conceal his presence. Hisoka then heads off but is stopped by Gon. Gon then tells him to take his tag back, but Hisoka refuses. Hisoka then tells Gon that he wants to keep him alive, so one day he can kill him when he's a more formidable opponent. Hisoka then pops Gon in the
Yeah, he
mouth,
does.
telling him that he'll take his tag back once Gon is able to land a punch on him like that. Shortly after, Hisoka leaves, leaving Gon
Wait till
distraught.
later.
Moving forward, Gon reunites with Leorio and Kurapika. They decide to go after Leorio's target, Ponzu, who's a chemical specialist. Since Gon has keen senses, he smells a strong scent coming from a cave and concludes that it's Ponzu.
Don't go to the
Leorio's
cave.
then like, watch out, bro, I got this, and heads into the cave alone. Since Leorio hasn't returned in 30 minutes, Gon and Kurapika enter the cave.
no.
There they find Ponzu and Leorio, who's immobilized due to snake bites.
A lot of
Shortly
them.
after their arrival, they are informed that they're trapped in this cave because of a snake trap set up by this applicant right here, who's dead. Gon then searches the dead snake owner, triggering the snakes to attack him. He finds antidotes for the snake venom and passes it to Kurapika. Kurapika then gives the antidote to both Gon and Leorio. Since the snakes are trapping them in this cave, Gon plots a plan to use Ponzu's sleeping gas to escape. Gon holds his breath.
He's like,
while
I'll
Ponzu
hold my
activates
breath.
the gas
I'll get
to
everyone
put
else
the
out.
snakes to sleep. After waiting 5 minutes so the gas
cool.
can reach the end of the cave, Gon carries Leorio, Kurapika, and Ponzu out of the cave. After that, Gon gives Ponzu the snake owner's tag and takes her tag for Leorio. Moving forward, the 4th phase has come to an end, and the applicants that acquired the 6 required points are to return to the rendezvous point. The applicants that passed the 4th phase is Hisoka, Pokol, Killua, Gitaraker, Bodoro, Hanzo, Leorio, Kurapika, and Gon. The 9 applicants now move on to the final phase, which
Has
is the
to drop down
tournament.
to
1 win
8,
is all that's
though.
required to pass, meaning that there will be 1 applicant that fails. Also note, losses will bring applicants up the brackets.
Such an
and whoever
interesting
reaches
way
the
to
top
do the
will
bracket,
fail the
though.
exam. The rules of the tournament is that killing is restricted, and forcing an opponent to admit defeat is the only way to win the match. If an applicant does kill an opponent, he will be disqualified, and the remaining applicants will pass, therefore ending the exam. For the first match, we got Gon and Hanzo. Gon takes a massive ass beating.
Yes, he
Won't give
does.
up. After several attempts on trying to get Gon to give up, Hanzo surrenders, explaining that he'll take his chances with the next match. Afterwards, Hanzo uppercuts Gon after a brief argument, knocking Gon out. Gon then wakes up and is rewarded his hunter license by
So
Stas.
funny.
Stas then tells Gon that Killua was the one who failed, explaining that it all started when Killua went up against his older brother Illumi, who was disguised as Gitaraker. In the match,
There we go.
Illumi tells Killua to quit on being a hunter and to pursue being an assassin. Killua then responds that he doesn't care about being a hunter and he just wants to be friends with Gon. That's when Illumi is like, that's it. I'm killing that bitch so you can get back on track.
Yeah, he's
That's
like,
when
I'll
Killua submits
murder
to
him
Fear
then.
and surrenders
It's
the
like,
match.
no!
So for the next match, we got Leorio and Bodoro. As the match starts, Killua appears behind Bodoro and kills
then,
that bitch because of Illumi's mind control. As a result, Killua gets disqualified and shortly after he heads back home to the Zodiac family. Upon hearing this, Gon confronts Illumi and asks
cool.
where Killua went. Illumi says it's a bad idea to go, but tells him anyways.
Yeah.
After learning the location,
You may not
Gon,
want to.
Leorio and Kurapika head out to Kukuru Mountain to
It's
rescue
such a
Killua.
cool
They arrive at the
adventure.
testing gate and stopped by a man named Zebro. Zebro then tells them that the only way to get through the gate is by pushing it. Also telling them the
But it's
gate weighs
really,
2 tons.
really
He then
hard.
offers training on which they accept, and so they were able to open
The
the
other
gate
way, the
after a
vests that
couple
weigh
of
them
days
down,
of intense training. They then continue the search for Killua and
Canary.
Connery, a butler for the Zodiac family. She restricts them from moving any further, and after a good bit,
Take that, and one of these. Constantly over and over and over.
Gon convinces her to allow them to pass through. Meanwhile, Killua is getting tortured by his brother Miliki
You say
as
that,
punishment
though.
for stabbing him and his mother before he left.
He's not really that bothered.
Yes!
Ugh.
Killua's grandfather Zeno then walks in and allows Killua to leave. And let's just take a moment to observe how much of a beast Killua is.
He's just like, okay. Cool.
God damn. Escorting Gon, Leorio, and Kurapika towards the Zodiac mansion. When they arrive, they play a little game with a
butlers.
butler named Goto. If you correctly guess the hand this coin is in, you'll be allowed to see Killua. However, if you guess incorrectly, fuck out of my house!
Yeah. And it's like, what the f-
Which hand? That one!
The guy behind you, yeah.
Shortly after, Killua enters the room and so he heads out with Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio. After that, Leorio departs to study to become a doctor, and Kurapika departs to look for a job as a hunter. But before doing so, they agree to meet up on September 1st at Yorknew City.
Oh yeah, it really threw me the first time they changed the intro a little bit. You can try!
Killua introduces the idea that they should participate in the Heavens Arena tournament, so that way they could train as well as earn money. They both sign up to the Heavens Arena tournament, and Dominic to the 50th floor. Before I continue, let me just take a moment to explain the Heavens Arena. There are a total of 251 floors in the Heavens Arena, and victories move competitors up floors. Every 50 floors, competitors are rewarded with Jenny.
This
After
is
making
so
it
funny.
to
He's
the
like, we need
100th
somebody,
floor,
let's just
competitors
fight.
are designated a private room. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's continue. On the elevator ride up to the 50th floor, Gon and
Such a
Killua
pointless
meet Zushi,
character,
and
but
soon
it's
after
still
they meet
fun
his
to have
master
him.
Wing.
They
Moving
needed to be there
forward,
for him
Killua
to
goes
train
up
him.
against Zushi in a match. He knocks Zushi down multiple times, but Zushi
He
manages to
keeps
recover each
getting up.
time. Zushi then unleashes a strange aura, which frightens Killua because it's similar to the aura that his
His
brother
brother
Illumi
has, yeah.
releases. Shortly after, Zushi's master Wing stops him, with Zushi getting back up constantly. This annoyed Killua, and so he hits a home run with Zushi, winning the match with a ring bell.
Ouch.
After the match, Killua overhears Wing lecturing Zushi about something along the lines of Ren, and talks to Gon about it. Gon and Killua then
Nen.
get curious over the idea of Ren, and goes to Zushi to ask about it. Shortly after, Wing appears and brings up something about Nen. With Killua Killua very curious.
A lot of
He asks
Ren,
Wing
Nen,
to
and
teach him about the
then.
concept of Nen. Wing
When?
agrees, bringing both Killua and Gon to his room to demonstrate and explain the 4 principles of Nen, which is Ten, Zetsu, Ren, and Hatsu. Moving forward, Gon and Killua make it to the 200th floor. As they are heading to the receptionist, they are stopped by
They can't
Hisoka.
get through
Hisoka then
because they can't
releases a
control the
powerful force in
Nen.
Nen, restricting them from going any further, telling them that they're not ready for the 200th floor. Shortly after, Wing appears and offers to teach them lessons to learn Nen. Using a frowned-upon procedure, Wing blasts both of them with his Nen, opening the aura nodes throughout Gon and Killua's body. With their Nen rapidly flowing, Gon and Killua quickly learn how to control their Nen, being
The
able
poor
to use
little kid,
10.
he's like,
Gon and
wait,
Killua then
I've been
return
training
back
for
to
years.
Hisoka. Hisoka tries to stop them once again, but was unable to because they used 10 to counter Hisoka's Nen. Gon then tells Hisoka that he intends to fight him, but Hisoka refuses
Sounds
to fight
so
him
silly.
unless he wins a single match on the 200th floor. Shortly after Hisoka leaves. Moving forward, Gon
These
goes
are
up
weird,
to
these
Gedo,
fighters
uses
up
Nen
here.
to manipulate tops as weapons. With that being said, Gon gets pop, 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 taking a
Yeah, he
brutal
does.
blow. After a month of recovery and some consistent Nen training, Gon rematches Gedo, except this time he brings
With a
his
fishing rod.
With Gon's increased mastery in Nen, he manages to
I love it,
deflect
he's just
Gedo's
like,
attacks. While Gedo
take
is spinning
the
as a defense,
floor
Gon
up.
says, "Whoopsie daisy," flipping the tile under
Yeah.
Gedo with his fishing rod. He then follows up with a punch, breaking
Goes to show how
Gedo's
good this
focus
anime
quickly.
is when I can
With
remember
Gedo
all
unable
this.
to fight, Gon wins the match. Moving on to the next match, we got
So
Killua
weird.
and Rayvel. Killua
Electric
manages to win because of his immunity to
whips.
electricity. Due to
It's
the
like,
torture
whatever.
he received back home, and so he uses Rayvel's own weapon against him. Rayvel is then given another chance to redeem himself and goes up against Gon. And as a result, he takes a fat L once again. Bravo!
That was
As Gon's
great.
walking out of the arena, he encounters Hisoka.
Hisoka.
Hisoka then tells Gon to pick a time and place to fight and leaves. Moving
Oh,
forward,
that
Gon
fight's so
teaches Gon,
good.
Killua, and Zushi the 6 types of Nen: enchantment, emission, transmutation, conjuration,
Enhancer.
manipulation, and specialization.
Oh,
After
oops.
the explanations, they use water divination to
said
classify the type of Nen each
Oh, the glass with the water.
Gon's Nen makes the water overflow, which makes him an enhancer. Killua's Nen turns the water sweet, which makes him a transmuter. And Zushi's Nen makes the leaf move on the water, which makes him a manipulator. After that, Wing
It's so
dismisses
cool,
Gon and Killua
'cause,
as
like, I love
graduates,
that concept.
telling them that they have passed the secret
It's not
100
power
which is
levels
basically
anymore, it's
just
like
to learn
figuring
Nen.
out
The others that
what
also
kind
pass
of
the secret
Nen
100
your
is
enemy has
Hanzo,
to try and
Kurapika,
counter it.
Poco, Leorio, Hisoka, and the Illumi. Moving forward a couple of weeks, Gon challenges Hisoka. At the beginning of the match, Gon takes some L's.
Oh,
That's when
yeah.
Gon picks up a towel from the stage and shatters it.
Oh,
being
so
able
cool.
to maneuver himself around Hisoka. It gives him a chance to deliver a nice and spicy punch.
Yeah. So it's swing.
Gon then says, "Take your tag back."
There you
Which
go.
Hisoka takes back with
That was
pleasure,
so
doing a nice
cool.
little 1, 2, 3, 4, poof magic trick. Hisoka then uses his Nen ability, also known
Bubble
as Bungee
gum.
Gum, to pull Gon towards him, hitting a heavy blow. Hisoka then follows up with pulling a piece of rubble with his Bungee Gum and hits Gon smack in the face with it. He's then rewarded
Such an
2 points
OP
for a
of
clean
power,
hit, and
like,
wins
if you
the
don't know
match
how
with
it
the score
works.
being 11-4. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention, the referee rewards points based on performance, and the score limit is 10. I don't know how I forgot about this detail, but let's move on.
Let's
Hisoka
go.
then leaves the arena telling Gon the next time they face each other, Gon will be a more experienced fighter, and that their lives will be at stake. After that, Gon and Killua head out to Whale Island, after saying their goodbyes to Wing and Zushi. Moving forward, Gon and Killua arrive at Gon's house. After chilling for a bit, Gon's aunt/motherly
Gives him a
figure,
box
Mito,
that-
gives a small box, telling him that Jin gave it to her before he
Jin
left.
again.
Also telling her to give it to Gon when he becomes a hunter. Gon and Killua have trouble opening the box, and that's when Gon recalls his father telling Mito to give the box to him when he becomes a hunter. After putting 2 and 2 together,
because he's a
they try using
hunter,
Nen
he
and
should
it
be able to use
opens.
Nen.
The box contained a memory card, a ring, and a cassette tape with a recording of Jin's voice on it. Gon, are you really sure you want to see me? Just to put it bluntly. I don't want to see you,
I don't wanna
bitch
see you,
ass.
yeah.
After listening to the tape, an aura appears around the player and starts overwriting the message. They attempt to stop it but end up failing. Killua then explains to Gon that his
Yeah.
father did that to make it harder to find him. They then look into the items from the box and focuses on the memory card. Since the memory card needed a console, Killua goes out and
Greed
buys a game
Island.
system. They then insert the memory card into the system and finds a save for a game called Greed Island. After some
Yeah.
research, they find that Greed Island is a very rare game worth nearly 6 billion Jenny. Killua then calls his brother Miliki
I
for
love where this
information where they can
goes.
get access to Greed Island. Miliki then tells Killua there's a website exclusive to hunters where he might find a lead. Also telling him there will be an auction held in Yorknew City
never
in
noticed those
September, where someone
pervy
might be selling
dolls
copies of Greed Island.
before.
After acquiring this information, Gon and Killua head out to Yorknew City to gather more information on Greed Island, and to also reunite with Leorio and Kurapika.
You can smile!
Moving forward, Kurapika Karapika gets accepted into the Hunter Agency and chooses the job to collect human trophies for 2 reasons.
But then she's
the first
like,
reason being
you
to hunt
can't
the
see
Phantom Troupe
this.
to avenge his clan, and the second reason being to recover the Scarlet Eyes the Phantom Troupe have stolen, after slaughtering his clan. After going through a series of tests, Karapika is hired as a bodyguard for the No Strayed family. Moving forward, Gon and Killua arrive in Yorknew City, and goes to an internet cafe to do the research on Greed Island using the Hunter's website. After some time, they find out that 7 copies of Greed Island will be auctioned off in the Yorknew auction, with the lowest bid starting at around 9 billion Jenny. With that being said, Gon and Killua look for ways to earn money, and along the way they meet up with Leorio. Moving forward, Karapika and the other bodyguards are assigned their first mission to escort the boss's daughter, Neon, to a hotel, which
she has an
they
interesting
successfully
ability.
did. After that, the bodyguards are ordered to obtain 3 items at the auction. Moving forward to the auction, the Phantom Troupe begins their raid,
Phantom
everyone
Troupe
in that bitch, and taking the merchandise scheduled for the auction. As they are escaping in a hot air,
no, they didn't
they are
take
shut
anything
down by
from
the
the auction because
mafia
there was
and
nothing to
confronted.
take.
That's when the Phantom Troupe's Uvagan has some fun and wipes each and every one of them out with ease.
Amazing
Shortly after,
fight.
members from the Shadow Beast arrive, and also gets the floor wiped.
The Shadow
with them.
Beasts
As
are
all
meant
of
to be
this is
dangerous, and he's like,
Karapika and the
I'll
other
take it.
bodyguards are watching from a distance. Karapika then steps out and uses his Nen ability, Chain Jail, to capture Uvagan and retreats back to headquarters. When they return to their headquarters, they restrain Uvagan and questions him about the items stolen from the auction. Uvagan then gives them a truthful response, and shortly after, Karapika gets a text from Hisoka to meet up. Karapika decides to go, leaving Uvagan with the bodyguards. As a false member of the Phantom Troupe, Hisoka says he's willing to tell Karapika the Nen abilities of 7 members in the troupe if he's willing to team up with him, adding that it's not for the reason to work together, but to exchange information with one another to benefit each other's ambitions. Karapika's being to hunt the Phantom Troupe, and Hisoka's being to fight the Phantom Troupe's leader,
You want to
Corolla,
fight
in a
Corolla.
1-on-1 deathmatch. Soon after, Karapika gets a call from his co-worker Melody, telling him that Uvagan has escaped. After hearing this,
God
Karapika
damn
walks
it.
off not answering
Why
Hisoka's
can't you do
proposal,
anything right?
and tells him to meet here again at the same time tomorrow. With Uvagan wanting revenge on Karapika, he searches every possible place where Karapika can be, eventually finding him in a room where he was waiting. They then take the fight outside, and that's when Karapika lands his chain jail once again. Karapika then uses his judgment chain on Uvagan. If Uvagan breaks the rule that Karapika sets, the blade at the end of the chain will give Uvagan's heart a nice little piercing. With that being said, Karapika sets the rule to answer his question honestly, asking where the other Phantom Troupe members are located. To protect his comrades, he says,
He just doesn't die for it. Such an epic villain.
Cue the music! Moving forward, Gon, Killua, and Leorio find flyers for the
They haven't
Phantom
explained
Troupe
that
and
his
starts to contact Karapika, but Karapika doesn't
chain
pick up.
thing
They then
only
decide
works
to
on the
pursue
Phantom Troupe.
for the
But
prize
never
money so
mind.
they can afford that greed.
There's only so much
After
info
doing
in.
some research, Leorio discovers the location of 2 Phantom Troupe members, Machi and Nobunaga. They then plot a plan to capture them, and shortly after follows through with it. Gon and Killua uses
Does not
Zetsu
go
to conceal
quite
their
to
presence
plan.
to tail Machi and Nobunaga. Both of them are aware that they're getting followed, and so they stop in a secluded area. Shortly after, Gon and Killua get compromised. So they try to dip, but are both stopped by 2 other Phantom Troupe members, Sphinx and Pakunoda. They are both then asked a series of questions. The first one being why they were following them, and the second being if they knew anything about the chain user, or in other words, Karapika. To the first
Yeah, but they
question,
didn't know
both
that
answered
Karapika
they
is
were
the
going
chain
after
user.
the bounty. And for the second question, they both answered truthfully that they don't know anything about the chain user.
Yeah.
Because the last time they saw Karapika, he didn't possess the chain
Didn't have
ability.
it, yeah.
They are both then detained and are asked once again if they knew anything about the chain user.
zooming in on the
Using
boob.
Pakunoda's Nen ability to scan people for information. After getting scanned, Gon and Killua come out negative. They are then brought to the Phantom Troupe's hideout. After some time, the troupe finds no use keeping them here because they don't have any information on the chain user, and so they all agree to release them, except
He wants him to join, doesn't he? Yeah.
Nobunaga then locks Gon and Killua in a room.
This
with
was
him
brilliant,
and
Ali.
says, "We're waiting
Get
for the
out."
boss." That's when Gon and Killua creates a plan to create their own exits. And
It's just like,
successfully
bash
escape
through the walls,
This
go!
is when Killua informs Gon that the chain user is Karapika. He figured this out after putting details together from the discussions that the Phantom Troupe had. He then says that they must seek Karapika to learn more
Gotta
about
find him.
Nen to improve their overall strength, so they'll actually have a chance against future opponents. Moving forward, Neon goes shopping and manages to escape her bodyguard to sneak into the auction. She encounters the Phantom Troupe's leader, Corolla, and gets through security with his help. Corolla then manages to get Neon to use her fortune-telling Nen ability. As she uses her ability, Corolla uses his Nen ability, Skill Hunter. This Nen ability allows Corolla to steal an individual's Hatsu, or a Nen ability, after learning and being exposed to it. Upon completion, the individual Corolla stole the Nen ability from won't be able to use it anymore.
Clever.
With that being said, Corolla knocks her out and dips afterwards. Moving forward, Corolla tells the members of the troupe to go wild, on their way to the auction. Meanwhile, the 10 Dons hire Silva and Zeno Zoldiak to take care of the Phantom Troupe at the
Oh my
auction.
god, that's
They end
so
up finding
fucking powerful.
Corolla and starts a pretty juicy fight.
This fight was
After fighting for a
amazing.
bit, Ilimi calls Silva, telling him that he has killed the 10 Dons because he was hired by Corolla to do so. Shortly after, Silva and
The
Zeno
10 Dons
leave
hired
because
them,
there's
so
no
they're not
reason to
interested.
continue fighting if they ain't getting paid. Moving forward, the Scarlet Eyes are up for auction, and Karapika buys them after being ordered to by his boss. Prior to that, the Phantom Troupe fakes their deaths using Quarter P's Nen ability to create fake corpses. Upon finding out that the troupe is quote-unquote dead, this put Karapika in a bit of of a depression because he kind of lost his purpose. Moving forward, Corolla orders the Troupe to leave Yorknew City, but Nobunaga refuses.
His ability can only be used in the Phantom Troupe, and the Phantom Troupe he think are dead.
That's when Corolla uses the Confrontation Nen ability he stole from Neon on most of the members in the Troupe, including Hisoka. Through doing this, they infer Shizuku, Shellnark, and Pakunoda will die by next week. They then read Hisoka's fortune and gets furious believing Hisoka is a traitor, because his fortune says he'll meet up and team up with the Chain User, also exposing the abilities of some of the Troupe members. His fortune even mentions the time he'll face Corolla. After reading Hisoka's fortune, he gets questioned. He confirms the meetup with the Chain User is true, but for the rest, he says he cannot tell them, adding that if they have a problem with that, he'll have no other choice but to fight. The Troupe then reviews his fortune once again and sees the phrase, Sword of Law. They interpret that being a sword pointed at Hisoka's heart, preventing him from leaking any information. But little do they know, that phrase is just an illusion Hisoka created with his men, to keep the Troupe inside of Yorknew City, where he'll have a chance to fight Corolla. They then move on to the second verse of Hisoka's fortune, and infers that more than half of the Troupe will die if they leave Yorknew City. With that being said, Corolla just has to stay. Moving forward, Kurapika reunites with Gon Kiro and Leorio. After explaining the condition for his chain jail and Judgment Chain, Kurapika gets a text from Hisoka telling him the dead bodies were fake, which gave Kurapika mixed emotions.
So if he uses his ability on anybody else, that knife on his heart will kill him.
After doing some planning, they create a plan to capture Pakunoda because of her ability to extract information. They then arrive at the Troupe's hideout to execute their plan, but find many duplicates of the base which P created with the intention to throw them off. Kurapika then calls Melody over for her assistance because of her ability to hear at long ranges. With the Troupe's knowledge on the Chain User, knowing that Kurapika works for the Nostrade family and that he's after the Scarlet Eyes, also piecing together that Neon likes human trophies. Using P's Nen ability, they track the duplicate of the Scarlet Eyes, which Kurapika bought at the auction, and heads to the hotel room it's located in. Melody then tracks the Troupe's movement with her hearing abilities and updates Kurapika via cell phone. Since the Troupe were heading towards the hotel, Kurapika calls his co-worker Squalla to evacuate, and so he does take the Scarlet Eyes with him, which pretty much served as a beacon for the Troupe. Seeing the Troupe rushing towards the hotel, Kurapika and Gon pursues them. Upon finding out they're being followed, Corolla, Machi, and Shizuku turn around, while the other three members go ahead to pursue Squalla. The split second they turn around, they get a glimpse of Gon and Kurapika, but not long enough to see their faces. That's when Killua arrives and switch places with Kurapika. Shortly after, Gon and Killua come out of their hiding spots and gets captured by the Troupe because they suspect they know something about the Chain User. Gon and Killua are then brought to a hotel.
This was clever.
Meanwhile, Squalla gets caught by the other Troupe members and gets
decapitated.
Cue the music.
That's brilliant.
Pakunoda then directly transfers the information she extracted from Squalla about Kurapika to Nobunaga and Kortopi using her Nen ability Memory Bomb. Moving forward, Pakunoda as well as Kortopi and Nobunaga arrive at the hotel. As Gon and Killua are about to get extracted for information, the light goes out in coordination with Kurapika's plan. Kurapika then swoops in and captures Corolla, leaving a note behind telling the Troupe. Using Corolla's cell phone, Kurapika then gives the Troupe members 3 demands, telling them that if they disobey any one of them, he will kill their leader. He then forbids Pakunoda from communicating with the other Troupe members, and tells her to meet up at an airport coming alone. After that, Kurapika then tells her to give the phone to Nobunaga, telling Nobunaga that all of the members have to return back to the hideout, and if even one member is missing, he'll kill Corolla. Moving forward, Pakunoda meets up with Kurapika. Kurapika then sets up judgment chains on both Corolla and Pakunoda, setting up 2 conditions for each of them. Corolla's condition being, you can't use Nen and you can't contact any of the Troupe members. And Pakunoda's being, she must bring Gon and Killua unharmed before midnight, and she cannot speak a single word about Kurapika. With that being said, Pakunoda leaves and returns with Gon and Killua. As they are walking towards the airship, Hisoka appears. Hisoka then asks to get on board, threatening Gon and Killua's life because he intends on fighting Corolla. Once the hostage exchange took place, Gon, Killua, and Kurapika leave immediately after, leaving Hisoka and Corolla to settle their battle. Since Hisoka isn't a Troupe member, Corolla is able to talk to him. Corolla then tells Hisoka he's unable to use his Nen because of the judgment chain placed on his heart, which disappoints Hisoka. Hisoka then leaves afterwards, unwilling to fight Corolla because of the handicap he was at. Meanwhile, Pakunoda returns back to the Troupe's hideout and uses her memory bomb on 6 members, giving them her memories and feelings. Shortly after, Kurapika's judgment chain activates, dropping her to the ground in a snap of a finger. Cue the music! Alright, that's enough!
Green Island!
You can't smile! The auction for Greed Island has begun. After the auction, Gon and Killua goes to the Greed Island auction winner Batara to ask if they could play it. Since Batara is looking for hunters to clear the game, he puts both of them through a brief test to see if they're worthy to enter Greed Island. They end up failing to reach his expectations, and so Killua comes up with the idea to create their own Nen ability. So after some time, Killua comes up with the ability to discharge electricity, and after a long ass time of thinking, Gon comes up with the ability to create explosive punches, also known as his rock paper scissors technique, which is in its first phase of development. Moving forward, Kurapika and Melody leave Yorknew City to continue their job with the Nostrade Straight family, and Leorio leaves to become a self-proclaimed doctor. Meanwhile,
Bye,
Battlero
Leorio.
runs all 7 copies of Greed Island and holds a screening allowing access for other hunters to play. At the screening, the hunters are tested to see if they are worthy to enter. After revealing their new Nen abilities, both Gon and Killua are allowed access. The participants then all head over to a mansion, where the consoles for Greed Island are set up. The first person to enter the game is Gon, using the memory card and taking the ring that Jin gave him. Before every player enters the actual game, they are welcomed by Etta and explain the rules. In order to beat Greed Island, a player is to gather all 100 restricted cards. Also, all players who die here die in real life. Upon exiting the room, the ring that Jin gave to Gon activates, playing a message.
Gotta do it.
Gon and Killua then group up and explore Greed Island. While they're exploring, they're being followed by this girl. This girl is later identified as Biscuit, or Bisky for short. She then explains that she's a pro hunter and that she'll use her 40 years of knowledge on Nen to instruct them.
Oh dear.
Bisky then reveals that she was Wing's Nen teacher, and as she is explaining, she senses a person creeping up on them. Bisky then confronts the guy and wipes him out with ease. After seeing her strength, Gon and Killua train under her after asking, using the goon that she just knocked down. Bisky uses him as a training for Gon and Killua. Through this training, they both get an increase in agility, and afterwards, they let this scrub go because they don't need that bitch no more. Moving forward, Gon and Killua resume more training, and while doing so, they realize the next hunter exam is coming up. So Killua acquires and uses a passage ticket card.
He just goes and just aces it, doesn't he, straight away?
After earning his license, Killua returns
He just knocks everybody out so there's no one to compete against.
Collect a good handful of restricted cards, and then encounters this NPC. This NPC then tells them to go to a pirate base, with the objective to get the pirates to leave the city, telling them that if they succeed, they will be rewarded with the Patch of Shore restricted card. After gathering up with 12 other Greed Island players,
that was a restriction,
wasn't it? One of the game masters, Razor. Razor sets up the competition under the theme of sports.
The dodgeball.
If they win, he and the pirates will leave.
They're the different ones first four, don't they?
Greed Island players take fat L's, but through these L's, Killua gathered information. Afterwards, the team disbands, leaving Gon, Killua, Bisky, and Morenu remaining. Moving forward, Gon searches for new teammates and opens his book. He then sees a player he recently encountered named Corollo. This sparked his interest, and so they use an accompany card to transfer themselves to the location of the player under the name of Corollo. They then find out the player is Hisoka and ask him why he's here. He then briefly explains that he's here looking for Corollo. Since they are seeking for someone strong, Bisky recruits Hisoka to the team, knowing that he's untrustable. They then form a group with 10 other players and re-enters the pirate base. They win the first 4 matches, leaving one more victory until they win overall. This is when Razor steps up and says, "Hey yo, we're playing dodgeball now."
Dodgeball, this is epic.
With Razor the last man standing on his team, Killua holds the ball while Gon uses his John Can Go to launch the ball at Razor. Razor manages to deflect it, but Hisoka comes in clutch with his bungee gun, launching the ball back at Razor, forcing him out of bounds, and earning the W for his team. With Razor knowing Jing, Gon asks if he knows anything about his father's whereabouts. Razor then tells Gon he knows nothing about Jing's location, but explains how Jing changed them for the better. After that, Gon is rewarded with the Patch of Shore card, shortly after Hisoka departs.
He's like, whatever.
As Gon and his group are walking, Genthru uses a contact card to communicate with them, and threatens their lives for the Patch of Shore card, adding that he has killed Gon's former teammates.
You haven't mentioned that he's the bomber, and there's a lot of people that are in danger by him.
Ending the conversation with him there. They then come to the conclusion, if they want to beat the game, they have no other choice but to fight Genthru and the 2 other people in the squad. With Genthru, assuming Suzugeta has the Patch of Shore card, Suzugeta and his group agree to hold off Genthru for 3 weeks, to allow Gon and Killua to recover from their injuries from the dodgeball match, and to create a plan to defeat Genthru. In return, Suzugeta will be given the card Lucky Alexandrite. Shortly after negotiating, Suzugeta and his squad head out to distract Genthru, while Gon undergoes training with Bisky, and Killua waits for his hands to heal. Moving forward roughly 3 weeks, Genthru and his scrubby teammates arrive at Gon, Killua, and Bisky's location. As a part of their plan, they split up, baiting Genthru, Sub, and Bara to split up too. Killua takes on Sub, Bisky takes on Bara, and Gon takes on the almighty Genthru. Starting with Bisky, she transforms into her Hulk form and pounds Bara to the ground. Next, we got Killua trying out his new yo-yo technique against Sub, and it looks like Killua outplays him, bashing that 50-kilogram yo-yo into his head. And so, this now leaves Gon to settle his fight with Genthru.
Oh my god.
They then tie up Genthru, Sub, and Bara.
He's lost his arm, hasn't he?
They then demand that they give up their cards that they stole from other Greed Island.
Or am I making that
After
up?
collecting those stolen cards, Gon now has possession of 99 out of the 100 restricted cards. With that being said, card number 0 is the last card that Gon needs. Shortly after, an announcement notifies all Greed Island players that there will be an event that will take place in honor of a player collecting 99 restricted cards. Also telling them the winner will be rewarded with the number 0 card. It's a quiz contest, and with that being said, Gon scores the highest, acquiring the final card he needed. As a reward for beating the game, Gon is able up to take 3 restricted cards from Great Island for use in the real world. So Gon gathers up with Killua and Bisky, deciding that each of them chooses one card. Bisky chooses the blue planet, Gon chooses the Paladin's necklace, and Killua chooses an accompany card disguised as a patch of shore restricted card using a transform card. Gon uses his Paladin's necklace to revert Killua's card back to the accompany. This is when Gon recalls being the first one to Great Island and seeing the name Nig and his recently encountered players. Putting this as an anagram, it spells out Jing. Gon then suspects that his father brought him to Great Island when he was just a baby. So with that being said, Gon and Killua say their farewells to Bisky and uses the accompany card to transport themselves to the individual under the name Nig.
New intro. You can try!
On their arrival, they find out it's not Jing, but Jing's former student, Kite. They then experience and learn about a dangerous species known as Chimera Ants, which brings up the question on what's up with Hunter Kite is. Kite replies to Gon's question, telling him that he's a biological surveyor, and that he's currently investigating the Chimera Ants. Shortly after, Kite's co-workers arrive, and they examine a queen ant's claw that they recently discovered. Kite notices that it's unusually large, which worries him. Moving forward, they head out to do more research, and after a while they get a lead, and so Kite, Gon, and Killua head to NGL, in hopes of finding the Chimera Ant's nest. Meanwhile, the Queen Chimera Ant has consumed her first human, and now craves them.
It's like
through the process of phagogenesis, pause the video for information on that, she produces a Chimera Ant naming him Colt.
But not many people are allowed in.
Communicate with speech and have a human-like personality. Through the consumption of more humans, she creates more Chimera Ants like Colt, with various personalities. After producing enough soldiers, the Queen now aims to give birth to her royal guard and the king. Run, bitch,
cool. Oh no! Jesus Christ, that was so brutal.
That's what happens when you skip leg day. Moving forward, as they are navigating through NGL, they encounter a Chimera Ant named Ramit. As they see if Gon and Killua are qualified for the mission, Kite tells them to take him on. So Gon and Killua hits Ramit up with an extra juicy combo, launching Ramit into the air. And that's when Colt swoops in out of nowhere and takes Ramit back to their nest. After being exposed to Gon and Killua's Hatsu, Ramit awakens his Nen. From observing Ramit's fight with Gon and Killua, Colt concludes that Ramit got his power from getting hit by a Nen enhanced hit. So that's when Colt tells Ramit to hit him while his Nen is rapidly flowing. Moving forward, one out of the 3 royal guard Pito is born, and Colt has awakened his Nen. As Pito is walking, it senses Poco hiding underneath bones, and so they kill him, taking his body for information on Nen.
Weird.
After reading a book on the human brain, Pito then takes 2 antennae and injects them into a certain region of Poco's brain, making him tell Pito everything he knows about Nen. Pito then confirms that the impact from a Nen attack can awaken an individual's Nen, and so the Chimera Ant gather up to go through the awakening process. After fighting through waves of Chimera Ants, Kite remembers that he had Jing's hunter license and gives it to Gon to return it back to him when he finds him. As they are heading towards the nest, Pito senses their presence nearby, simultaneously as Kite senses Pito's immense aura. Kite then tells Gon and Killua to run before they knew it.
Oh, Kite.
Pito then gives off an evil aura directed at Gon and Killua. This is when Gon tries to go into Super Saiyan 3, but is quickly stopped. Killua then takes Gon and dips, leaving NGL. Killua then calls Kite's co-workers for pickup, and that's when they pull up with reinforcements. Netero, Nove, and Morel.
Oh my
Before
God.
entering NGL, Netero tells Killua he sent 2 assassins to the nearest village, adding that they must defeat those assassins in order to continue fighting in NGL, giving them 2 tokens. The goal is to take possession of the assassins' tokens to confirm the victory, but if they lose theirs, they won't be allowed to enter NGL. Moving forward, Killua arrives in the village and checks into a hotel. Shortly after, Gon awakes and thanks Killua for stopping him, but Killua says not to thank him because he let Kite die. Gon then tells Killua that Kite is alive, giving him hope, but little did they know. Cue the music! And we're done.
Brutal.
As Gon and Killua are walking around the village, they meet Palm, who invites them to have some tea. While they're having tea,
She's so
she says
weird.
that she's a student of Nove. Killua then asks her for the condition that Netero told her, and she responds with, they have to defeat both the Morel students, Knuckle and Shoot, adding that only one pair will be able to enter NGL,
Knuckle's cool,
and there's a 1-month
man.
deadline. Moving forward, Gon and Killua heads to Palm's place, and there stood Bisky, who Palm invited to train them. Gon and Killua then undergo training to maintain their Ren. They must hold their Ren for 3 consecutive hours in order to move on to the next step. After failing and exhausting themselves, Bisky instructs them to fight Knuckle, telling them that if it seems like they're gonna lose, retreat and try again the next day. They then repeat the cycle with Ren training and sparring with Knuckle for a series of weeks. Throughout this time, Knuckle becomes friends with them, and Gon comes up with a name for his Nen ability, which is Jajunkin. Since Killua didn't
it was so funny because it was a mistake because it was a stutter and he's like, Jajunkin!
And as a result,
Oh, yeah, she beat
throughout this
crap
fight,
out of
she
him.
points out Killua's weaknesses. The first one being that he gives up too easily, and the second being he underestimates himself. Moving forward, Bisky heads out, and Gon and Killua are settling their fights with Knuckle and Shoot for the tokens. Gon goes up
infused
against
into his
Knuckle,
whole being
and Killua goes
that
up
if
against
he's
Shoot.
in danger,
Knuckle
run
doesn't hold
away.
back and uses his Nen ability Bankruptcy Chapter 7 on Gon. Pause the video for the explanation because you got me fucked up if you think I'm explaining all this.
Yeah, that's
And
a
in
lot
Killua's
to
fight,
explain.
Killua is running away from battle because of Illumi's mind control. As a result, both Gon and Killua take L's, losing their tokens. On top of that, Gon loses the ability to use his Nen for 30 days because of the effect of Knuckles' ability. They then arrive at NGL's entrance with Knuckle and Shoot to say their goodbyes. But before they head inside, Gon makes Knuckle promise to save Kite, and so Knuckle is like, I got you! Moving forward, the two other Royal Guard, Poof and Yuppie, are born, and upon consuming hundreds of humans, the king is born, putting the queen in critical condition.
It just kills them, like, I was just like, what the frick?
Asking them to help the queen, also telling them the king has
they
been
were a
born.
big deal at the time.
And brings them to their boss, Netero. Netero then orders them to group up with Shoot and Knuckle and to head to the nest with Colt leading the way. When they arrive at the nest, they attempt to save the queen by cue the music. Cue the music. The music? Oh wait a minute, this bitch doesn't deserve it. Before she died, she made her last request being for someone to tell the king his name, marry him. Colt then finds something moving in the queen's stomach, and it turns out to be a baby Chimera Ant, on which he promises to protect. Moving forward, the king is in search of that delicacy he had while he was in the queen's stomach, known as Nen users. The king as well as his royal guard then arrive in the Republic of East Gartau. There they head inside of a palace, killing and devouring every guard that crossed their path, making the king hit a nut because of all them Nen users. They then meet up with the supreme leader of this land, Kim Jong-un, and takes him out.
Basically.
Forward, Gon and Killua return to Palm, and finds her furious because she couldn't go to NGL. Gon then asks her how he can make it up to her, and she says to go on a date with her.
And he's like, okay.
Gon then agrees, calming Palm down. Moving forward a bit, Gon gets a call from Knuckle, telling him that he has found Kite, but it looks like he's being controlled by the enemy. Gon is then like, all we need to do is find a way to get him back to normal, and we all good. Moving forward once again, Gon goes on his date with Palm, and so Killua decides to follow and watch over him. While Killua is monitoring Gon, he senses an aura nearby and investigates. Soon after, he finds Rabbit, and that's when Illumi's mind control starts telling him to run. Killua then jabs his hand into his head, removing the needle that Illumi placed to control Killua. After that, the fight was just child's play for Killua.
Just
Killua
takes his head off. He's like, what the hell?
Palm on her crazy shit again. So Killua grabs Gon and dips. Moving forward, No, Shoot, Morel, and Knuckle brings Gon to the location where Kite is being kept. There, Gon sees Kite looking all fucked up. But after seeing Kite like this, Gon makes a vow to bring him back to normal. With one more day left until Gon is able to use Nen again, Morel and the others agree to bring Gon and Killua to the Republic of East Gartau. Shortly after their arrival, Hito uses its Nen ability to control the leader of East Gartau, inviting the civilians of this area to the palace, where a quote-unquote screening will take place in 10 days. They are aware of the king's intentions, and shortly after, they get a text from Netero with the plan. They will have to divide into 3 pairs to bait the 3 royal guard away from the king. With everything decided, Gon and Killua are assigned Pito, Knuckle and Shoot are assigned Yuppie, Nova and Morel are assigned Poof, and Netero is assigned the king. Shortly after getting everything straight, Knuckles' Nen ability wears off, and so Gon is now able to use Nen again. Moving forward, 6 Phantom Troupe members head over to Meteor City, the homeland of most of the Troupe. There they find out Chimera Ants have invaded it, and so as a result,
cool this. It's like, don't forget the Phantom Troupe exist, and then just like destroy them.
After doing some planning to stop
and then back to the main
Gon
story.
and Killua separate, and apparently a Chimera Ant follows Gon. After a while, Gon notices the Chimera Ant following him, and questions him. He then reveals his name is Melorion, and that he's looking to partner up with Gon. Without hesitation, Gon believes him and accepts his partnership. Melorion then shows Gon his Nen abilities.
Cool.
Perfect plan
like,
and God's accomplice. Perfect plan allows him to go invisible by holding his breath, and God's accomplice is pretty much the same thing, but can also turn someone else invisible with contact. Shortly after displaying his abilities, he then explains to Gon the reason he partnered up with him, with his objective being to get revenge on the king. Meanwhile, Killua is being followed and tracked by a Chimera Ant named Flutter. While Flutter is following him, he gives coordinates to another Chimera Ant with telepathy. Using these coordinates, he snipes Killua with flawless accuracy. After getting sniped by flea bullets a good couple of times, Killua tracks the sniper and confronts him. The sniper then leads Killua into a trap, but Killua manages to save himself from the fall. And there it's revealed that the Chimera Ant is an octopus-looking thing named Ikugo, who uses dead bodies as hosts. After meeting Ikugo, Killua thinks he's a pretty cool guy, and in different circumstances he would have been friends. This is when a Chimera Ant sneaks up behind Killua and attaches a pin to him. Shortly after, Nen darts start to hit him. After enduring multiple darts, Killua sees through the Nen ability and fakes his death. That's when the Orthro siblings come up from the water and is like, "Hey, we got him!"
And then take their heads.
Shortly after taking them out, Killua collapses from blood loss. Ikugo then picks him up and heads to the nearest clinic to get him patched up. Moving forward, the king is now playing board games against champions to pass time until the selection. He manages to beat the champions at Shogi and Go, and gets bored of those games quite quickly. So I guess you can say the king got board games. I really need to end myself after that. So the next game the king plays is Gungi, going up against the champion Komugi. After taking a series of L's, the king gets upset, but at the same time he's enjoying himself. Moving forward, Nove takes out Flutter and brings him back to his Nen dimension. After that, Nove heads over to the palace and creates portals in various locations to serve as entrances when they start their operation. As he makes his way to the central stairway, he retreats encountering Pito's
he's
aura.
so
Shortly
scared of
after,
it.
Palm enters in her own way. As she's sneaking around the palace looking for the king to use her Nen ability, she gets discovered. Moving forward, the king is still taking massive L's against Komugi, causing him to obsess over his matches. With that being said, Poof begins holding a grudge against her. Moving forward a bit more, Komugi gets attacked by a hawk, and the king comes in and saves her, afterwards showing concern for her. Upon doing this, the king starts questioning his morals, because he just saved a human. Moving forward once again, Ikugo and Malorion join the Chimera Ant extermination team, and they all gather up in No's dimension minutes before the selection. On the start of the selection, all citizens in the area begin to move towards the palace. When they arrive at the palace, Poof uses his Nen ability to hypnotize them to follow his commands to stay put. And so, the time has come to start their operation to stop the selection, using No's portal to enter the palace. Just as they start their operation, Zeno and Netero drops by the palace, and Zeno uses his Dragon Dive technique, making it rain hella arrows. As the extermination team arrive at the central stairway, there stood Yuppie, who ends up destroying the stairway, dividing the team. With the Nen arrows devastating the palace, Komugi ends up getting hit, which brings the king to feel that feeling when you lose all your money gambling. Shortly after, Zeno and Netero arrive, and both stood there out of respect. The king then orders Pito to heal Komugi, and shortly after that, he tells Netero they can fight somewhere else. On Netero's way out, he sees Gon, and points in the direction where Pito is. After that, Zeno creates an Nen Dragon for Netero and the king, to transport them to a wasteland where they can fight. Meanwhile, Knuckles, Shu, and Malorion are all going up against Yuppie. With Knuckles invisible because of Malorion's ability, he manages to land a hit on Yuppie, activating his Nen ability. After fighting for a bit, Shu reaches his limit, and so Knuckles decides to take on Yuppie, baiting him away from Shu. Moving forward, Ikugo makes his way to the underground using an elevator, in search of Palm, giving general information on where she should be. After searching for a good while, he finds out that she's dead through a message she wrote with Nen. As Ikugo makes his way back to the elevator, he encounters a Chimera Ant named Bloster, who quickly discovers that he's not Flutter. After blasting Flutter's body, Bloster believes that Ikugo is dead, and heads to the elevator. With Bloster unable to use the elevator because he needs a passcode, Ikugo moves to the control room and activates shutters, dropping Bloster.
He just keeps trapping him and then gassing him.
Sleeping gas in the elevator. Ikugo then comes in with an armored truck and crashes near the elevator. Shortly after, the sleeping gas hits Bloster, and so Ikugo goes in for the finishing blow, but can't bring himself to pull the trigger. And so he runs back to the control room, ashamed of himself. Moving forward, Gon and Killua arrive in the room where Pito is healing Komugi. Gon's blood boils the split second their eyes meet, and demands to fight now. Killua wonder why Pito isn't preparing for battle, but after putting pieces together, he figures out the girl laying on the ground is someone precious to the king, and that she's getting healed. Pito then pleads Gon to wait for it to heal Komugi, breaking its arm to show it's serious. After hearing this, Gon gets enraged and starts charging his Jajunkin. Killua stops Gon by explaining to him that if he kills Pito, they'll never get Kite back. Gon then gives Pito 1 hour to heal Komugi, and makes Pito promise to come with him to heal Kite afterwards. And so Gon sits and waits.
He does.
Meanwhile,
bing bong, bing bong. Crying.
Moving forward, Killua sneaks out of the room using Malorion's invisibility.
I was very surprised by that
before
death.
Knuckles is about to get finished off, Killua comes in clutch with his Thunderbolt, allowing Knuckles to flee. Killua then activates his Godspeed and goes
cool.
After running out of his
And then
Godspeed, Killua then retreats with Malorion's assistance. Moving forward, Morel meets up with Poof and intends to fight him, trapping him in his smoky jail. Since he couldn't escape, Poof wraps himself in a cocoon for a long-ass time. After losing his patience, Morel strikes at the cocoon and undoes his smoky jail. That's when Poof disperses into many clones, and as an attempt to take them out, Morel creates smoke troopers, but ends up failing. And so Poof takes Morel's pipe, dropping the pipe into a body of water a good distance away from him. Yuppie then appears at Morel's location, and shortly after Knuckle arrives. Using the troopers Morel created before getting his weapon confiscated, he transforms them into Knuckle clones and assists Knuckle in his fight. During the fight, Knuckle goes and hides, and Morel's troopers get slaughtered. With that being said, Yuppie goes in to kill Morel, but fails because Malorion comes into something else. Yuppie managed to cut Morel before he went invisible, and so he follows the blood trail. This is when Knuckle returns and tells Yuppie to fight him to let them escape. Yuppie says no to that, but proposes if Knuckle takes off his Nen ability, they'll have a deal. With Knuckle's Nen ability nearly completed, he undoes it due to tension, and so Yuppie leaves them alone.
If he just waited.
Nova appears and takes Morel to his dimension for healing. Moving forward, Yuppie and Poof are heading towards the king. Meanwhile, Netero and the king have arrived at their destination. Netero tells the king that they can fight here without any restraints, but the king then says, nah bruh, let's just talk things over. So Netero throws the first attack, which doesn't even leave a scratch on the king. After that, the king then sits back down, still looking to talk. Opposed to that, Netero claps them cheeks, which really didn't affect the king. The king then sits back down and says the only way he's gonna deal with them is to talk things through. That's when Netero says he'll tell the king his given name if he forces him to admit defeat. Eager to know his name, the king gets up and prepares for battle.
Such a good fight.
Slightly damaged by Netero's attacks, the king managed to detach 2 of Netero's limbs. Seeing Netero sitting defensively on the ground, the king then asks for his name. Netero then tells the king his name and detonates the bomb implanted within his heart, catching the king in its radius. Kaboom! Moving forward, Palm is reborn as a Chimera Ant. Killua encounters Palm, and there she asks Killua where Gon is. Suspecting that she's an enemy now, he doesn't give her an answer, so she goes berserk. After a bit, Killua apologizes for assuming that she was an enemy,
to break something that was blocking her thoughts,
eventually breaking down. After witnessing Killua's distress, Palm reversed back to her normal state, thanking Killua for saving her from the Chimera Ant's control. Moving forward, a Chimera Ant named Welfin enters the control room where Ikugo is. Viewed as a threat, Ikugo shoots him. After some conflict, they end up talking things out, and as an outcome, Ikugo was told by Welfin that Palm has been captured and placed in a cocoon, also giving him the details on the room she was placed in. And so Ikugo leaves the underground, and by chance, he meets up with Killua and Palm. Shortly after, they group up with Knuckle and Melorion, and prepares themselves for the next battle. Moving forward, Gon says, "Time's up, bitch!"
Yep.
So they head out, leaving Komugi with Killua and Knuckle as a hostage. Meanwhile, Yuppie and Poof arrive at the bomb site, and there they find the king looking like a burnt gingerbread cookie. They both then give their energy to the king, which revives him. After being revived, the king ended up losing his memory, but soon after he recalls the palace, believing that it has the answers he's seeking. With the king having lost his memories, Poof sends clones over to the palace
like, I need to
erase
kill
any
the
trace
cow.
of Komugi. As the king is heading towards the palace, he starts getting suspicious with Poof's behavior, and believes he's hiding something. Moving forward, Poof's clone finds Komugi, but she's being defended by Killua. Poof then attempts to kill her, but can't due to Killua's powerful defense. Soon after, the king arrives at the palace, and so Poof's clone retreats to hide the Gungi game board and pieces laying around the floor, to prevent any chance of the king being reminded of Komugi. Meanwhile, Gon and Pito arrive at the location where Kite is being kept, and this is where Pito reveals the truth to Gon.
Oh man. Already dead.
NANI? With Gon internally destroyed, Pito heals its broken arm, preparing to fight. That's when Gon's despair reaches its peak.
Oh my god, it's
transforms
amazing.
into Big Daddy Gon.
Jesus Christ. Oh,
Gon then takes Pito outside to settle their fight, and that's when Pito tries to get a cheap shot
she has
in,
no
but Gon evades the attack and kicks that bitch up to heaven. But that bitch gets rejected, and so Pito falls back down. As Pito is falling, Gon uses his one-for-all core, charging that extra juicy John Ken.
Right in the face.
Launching Pito to China. Shortly after, Killua arrives and sees Gon making some mashed potatoes.
God,
even though Pito's already dead,
face.
Pito's will possesses its body and attacks Gon, severing his arm. Grabbing his dismantled arm, he uses that shit
in the chest. Ow, my arm.
Pito into the ground. After that,
you can have my arm.
Last Jinjunkin.
It's so sad and hard to watch.
Moving forward, the king enters the palace and believes he's forgetting something important. So the king then releases his N on the whole area and finds Knuckle and Melorion, briskly knocking them out and capturing them for interrogation. Meanwhile, Palm and Ikugo rush to the underground to hide Komugi. They place Komugi in a box and place her in a storage room. Shortly after, they meet up with Welfin and sends him as a messenger to the king to tell him that they'll trade Komugi for Knuckle and Melorion. As Welfin is driving out, he is stopped by Yuppie, who soon after coughs up blood and dies. The king then releases his N once again and finds Welfin. Shortly after, Poof appears telling the king that Welfin has deep ties with his secret. The king then grows impatient, and so he says he's hungry, giving Welfin the death stare. With Welfin going through a panic, he then says,
Komugi.
After hearing this, the king starts remembering everything. Moving forward, Poof dies, and the king heads to the underground in search of Komugi. There he finds Palm, and after a compromise, the king reunites with Komugi. The king and Komugi then have their final match before they pass away. After being exposed to the poisonous gas from the rose bomb that Netero set off. Although Komugi wasn't directly there, it's contagious through respiration. So yeah, that's how Yuppie and Poof died also. Cue the music.
Proper sad that though, considering he was a villain like, but...
And we're done here.
Oh, thank God, I thought you said it was over, but we've still got, like, the last story bit. You get out!
Moving forward, the war with the Chimera Ants is over. Gon is on life support after going through his Big Daddy transformation. And then an election for a new chairman for the Hunter Association is taking place due to Netero's death. While in the hospital, Morel calls Colt to check up on the Chimera Ant child. The Chimera Ant is revealed to be the reincarnation of Kite. Meanwhile, with Gon in the condition he's in right now, Killua vows to save Gon and heads back home to the Zodiac family. There he seeks his sibling Alika. And for the sake of this video and for the sake of my well-being, I'm gonna refer to Alika as a female. If you say otherwise, then get the fuck out! Alika has the power to grant any wish if a person complies with a series of requests. Depending on the scale of the wish, the intensity of the request will correlate with it. If someone fails to complete 4 of Alika's requests in a row, it will result in death. With that being said, Alika has been locked behind heavy security due to the dangers of her power. Killua goes to his father Silva asking to see Alika. After some convincing, Killua is allowed to see her. Killua then tries to leave her, asking his father to open the door. He refuses to do so, and so Killua wishes to kill his mother if he doesn't leave the mountain within 30 minutes. With that being said, this forces his father to submit
Oh, it's like, oh, he's grown up to be such a
Through his
boy.
actions, Killua is now placed on alert level 4, meaning that he'll be escorted by butlers, and if he violates any of the rules set, he'll be forced back home. The rules being he can't tell anyone about Alika's power, and he has to stay 1 meter close to her at all times. Meanwhile, Illumi tells Hisoka about the dangers of Alika's power, telling him that if Killua makes this wish to heal Gon, they both can potentially die. Illumi then instructs that they must kill Alika. With that being said, as Killua, Alika, and the butlers are heading to the city Gon is in, they are attacked by Illumi. The butler then says that they need to return back to the house, but Killua was opposed to that and dips. Shortly after Hisoka arrives, and so Goto takes on Hisoka, allowing the other butlers to go after Killua. Eat my Chuck E. Cheese tokens, bitch!
I'm dead.
As Killua is hustling, he encounters Needleman, aka people controlled by Illumi. Shortly after Illumi arrives, following the butlers. After explaining Alika's power, that there isn't a risk of someone dying if you wish to heal someone, Illumi has no reason to kill her and leaves, stating that Killua is still hiding something from him, and he won't let Alika go until he tells him how he's able to wish 2 times in a row. Moving forward, they arrive at Gon's hospital bed and uses Alika's power to heal him back to health. Gon then heads over to the Hunter Association headquarters, where the election for chairman is being held, and there he meets his father Jing. Gon then apologizes to Jing for what happened to Kite, and as a response, Jing says he shouldn't be the one he should be apologizing to, and that he should be apologizing to Kite. He then follows up with telling Gon the rule to apologizing, which is to promise to do things differently next time. After that, Gon heads out, but before leaving, he asks if they can talk later. That's when Jing says, Shortly after, Jing tells Gon he'll see him later. And as a result for the election, Cheadle is elected as the new chairman. Who the fuck cares? Moving forward,
I love it. I love he just skipped over all that.
She had the right judgment allowing Gon and Killua to escape when they were attacked by Pito. After talking for a bit, Kai then tells Gon to see Jing again. So Gon heads back to the Hunter Association headquarters
and
to
he's
meet
not
up with
there.
Jing. When he arrives, Jing isn't here, but he sees a note from him to meet up at the top of the world tree. And so Gon heads there with Killua and Alika. At the gate, they part ways, with Gon heading to see Jing. And both
so
Killua
sad
and
to
Alika
see
heading out
them
to
part.
adventure. But
Such
before
good
disbanding,
friends.
Gon says,
Yay.
and so Gon meets up with Jing at the top of the world tree, and there Jing explains his adventures as a hunter, and also explains the outside world, where the Chimera Ants came from. After that, Gon returns Jing's hunter license, and afterwards, they continue talking about their adventures. We have reached the conclusion of Hunter x Hunter. What lies ahead of Gon's adventure? Find out after this hiatus.
Wow, that was brilliant. That was so cool to watch. And refresh. Oh man, that was cool. Yeah, if you've not seen Hunter x Hunter, you really need to. It's so good. It's really, really cool. The story's awesome. The characters are so likable. I absolutely love it. I think it's like up there with my top list of anime to watch. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What did you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys. It's all you guys next time.